What's your next step in Russia-Ukraine talks after last week's negotiations?
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it. But I'm not sure that Zelensky is fine with it. His people love it. But he hasn't read it. So someday you'll explain that one to me, Jeff.
This is my video update on this Monday afternoon, December the 8th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the fighting between Cambodia and Thailand. The ceasefire, which lasted for about 2 months, about 50 days, the ceasefire that the Trump administration brokered, it looks like that has collapsed. And we have military escalation between Cambodia and Thailand. My understanding of things is that Cambodia attacked an air base or a military facility in Thailand. A soldier, I believe, did die, and then Thailand retaliated with airstrikes into Cambodia. Civilians who are living in the region, in the area of the shared border, they are being evacuated on both sides. And in Cambodia, they actually issued a statement saying that they dispute the reports that they attacked Thailand first. Thailand, from what I understand, is actually capturing some areas within Cambodia. But the general news of what is happening is that the ceasefire has broken down, and we are getting escalation between the two countries. So just a couple of days ago, Trump received the FIFA Peace Prize for ending the 8 wars. Is it the 8? Yeah, it's 8 wars. And it looks like now that will be knocked down to 7, because Trump really didn't end many of these wars. There was no proper negotiations or documents that were prepared so that you could bring these disputes or these conflicts to a proper resolution. He managed to use U.S. leverage, economic and military leverage, in order to broker some sort of a temporary ceasefire. But if you don't get the proper negotiations to put in place something that is long-lasting, eventually these types of ceasefires will unwind. And that is what's happening in the case of Cambodia and Thailand. Now, we have Trump, I believe, at the Kennedy Center, I believe is where he made these statements, where he was asked by the media about Project Ukraine and the negotiations with Russia. And Trump said that he is disappointed with Zelensky. With Zelensky. He was disappointed with Zelensky, not Putin. You thought I was going to say Putin. You thought I was going to say Trump is disappointed with Putin. Nah, he's disappointed with the Green Goblin, he said. Yeah. According to Trump, The Green Goblin has not even read his 28-point peace plan. He hasn't even read it. Wow. No reading of the 28-point peace plan. Come on, Zelensky. Yeah, Trump said that that Russia would probably take all of Ukraine, but he said that Russia is ready for negotiations, even though they would like to take all of Ukraine. They're pretty much okay with his peace plan, and they're ready to negotiate. He said that Zelensky's team loves the. Which way should we go? Let's go this way. He said Zelensky's team loves the peace plan. They've read it, and they love it. They love it. They don't like it. They love it. But Zelensky has not read it. He has not read the document, according to Trump, and he's very disappointed in Zelensky. Zelensky. You couldn't take 5 minutes out of your busy travel schedule to read Trump's 28-point peace plan. Come on, Zelensky. What are you doing? What are you doing? Podolyak. What is this Mr. Trump saying about some peace plan that I have to read? Mr. President, he's talking about the 28-point peace plan. It's a document that was published a couple of weeks ago. Are you telling me you did not read it? Podolyak. I did not read such document. I watched some TikTok videos about some document, but I didn't know that I had to read something. TikTok videos were good. No, Mr. President, you have to read it. And I have to tell you, Mr. President, it's a great document. I really love it. It's a real page turner, the 28-point peace plan. Oh boy, talk about some dangerous steps. Wow. Athens, Greece. Telling you, what an adventure. Walking the streets of Athens. And look at where these steps take you. They take you to the streets. Wow. All right. So, Trump is disappointed with Zelensky. But the Pentagon is still going to hand the Zelensky regime $800 million over 2 years. $400 million in 2026 and $400 million in 2027. So yes, they are disappointed. Trump is disappointed, but not that disappointed. It's less than what the Pentagon has handed over to Zelensky in 2025, but still, 400 million. I think the Zelensky regime is going to take it. I think they're going to happily accept 400 million from the United States. And Trump was saying that there's no more money going to Ukraine. Well, there's 800 million over the next 2 years that is going to Ukraine. It's all part of the Pentagon's $900 billion budget. So Ukraine is a very, very small part of the $900 billion, but still, it's money that's going to go to the Zelensky regime. A day after Trump Jr. was in Doha talking about the money going to the Zelensky regime, and him being in Monaco and seeing a whole bunch of Ukraine license plate Bugattis, right? You get that statement from Trump Jr., and the next day you get the Pentagon budget reports, which says 900 billion budget, 800 million over the next 2 years to go to Project Ukraine. Tucker Carlson, by the way, is also talking about Ukraine license plate Bugattis, golden toilets and Bugattis. It cuts through. Taxpayers can visualize the corruption when you say golden toilet and when you say Bugattis, Ferraris, Bugattis. You get a visual of where your money is going towards, because all of this is unaudited, right? Unaudited over 4 years to the most corrupt country in Europe, one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So we have to talk about Hungary and Orban. They're looking to take action against the European Union. They're going to actually take the European Union to court. And basically they're saying that the decision by the EU to force EU member states to cut off Russian energy, Russian gas, is illegal. And so they're going to wait until the Commission's plan to cut off Russian gas, to force member states to cut off Russian gas. They're going to wait for when that's approved. And when that's approved, according to Peter Siarto, they're going to then take the European Union, the Commission, to court. And their argument is pretty solid, actually, because the way this was done, my understanding of things, is that decisions like this should be voted on by all EU member states. It should be a unanimous decision to cut off energy to the European Union. And what the EU did, what Ursula did, is they made it so that the vote to cut off energy to the European Union was not going to be unanimous, bypassing Hungary and Slovakia, and it was going to be a majority vote because they put it underneath Europe's energy commission or something like that, right? And by doing that, energy laws or whatever, and by doing something like that, you bypass the unanimous vote and you make it a majority vote. And so Hungary and Slovakia, actually Slovakia as well, is going to join Hungary as they take the European Union to court to try and reverse the energy ban that is going to come into effect in 2026. Orban, he said that the EU is preparing for war by 2030. He said that this is the EU's policy. It's EU policy to prepare for war with Russia by 2030. And so Orban, he sits in on meetings. He knows what all of the cool kids in Brussels are saying and what they're talking about, and he's read all of the documents and the papers, even the documents and papers that we don't get to see. He's seen it, he's read it, and he's saying that the official policy of the European Union is for a conflict with Russia by 2030, or at least to be ready for a conflict with Russia by 2030. And Orban made the point of saying that, let's go that way. He made the point of saying that that a country that prepares for war, they usually go through 4 steps, and the European Union is actually going through those steps. He said the steps are sanctions, cutting off economic ties, I believe was one of those steps. Sanctions, cutting off diplomatic ties, cutting off economic ties, and then eventually war. 1 second. Let me make sure I got the 4 steps to war, according to Orban. Correct. Breaking off diplomatic relations, imposing sanctions, and ending economic cooperation, and finally engaging in armed conflict. He said that most of these steps have already been taken. There is the official European Union position that by 2030 it must be ready for war. That's a direct quote from Orban. By the way, there is a video that is circulating on social media, on X and on Telegram, going back to Ukraine corruption and the United States giving money to Project Ukraine. There is now a video that is circulating of Kuleba at some event outside of Ukraine, is my understanding of things. And this is a recent video. He is at some event wearing his tux with I guess his girlfriend or his wife. I think it's his girlfriend. And well, everyone is pointing out that here you have the one-time foreign minister of Ukraine who got off of the sinking ship about a year and a half ago, along with Reznikov. And now he's somewhere in Europe or at some event wearing his tuxedo with his girlfriend, attending some sort of theater or ballet or whatever. And meanwhile, his country is crumbling, and his citizens, his countrymen, are being sent to the front line. He was actually asked about whether he was, in an interview, about whether he was going to go to the front lines. And I believe Kuleba's response was, "I've already served my country by being the foreign minister for 2 years," something along those lines. But everyone's talking about this video that is circulating of Kuleba. What I noticed in the video is the very weird and strange dance from his girlfriend or wife or whoever she is. What was that about? What was she doing? It's like, oh, what was that about? Oh man, not a good look at all. But as I said in many video updates, Kuleba, Reznikov, the one-time defense minister, they got out early. They took their winnings and they left the casino about a year and a half ago, right? So anyway, that is an update. There we have the president of Slovakia, who has now been placed on the Miro Dvorec. He has been placed on the Miro Dvorec. You know, the Ukraine. Oh, how am I going to get through with my backpack? The Ukraine hit list, kill list, whatever, with Langley or Poland as an address on their website. And we know all the people that have appeared on Miro Dvorec over the years, of which the collective West, of which the United States, Europe, they say nothing about it. Nothing about the horrible, hideous thing that is. So I cut off my recording because I realized that I had lost my microphone as I was walking down the path over there, and I realized it must have come off as I was moving through the fence. And so I was looking for the mic. I went through my video and I saw where it came off, and I said, okay, it came off from the fence, so it came off around here somewhere. So I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I can't find it, but I can see the receiver is locating the microphone. So I'm sitting there looking, where is the mic? Where is the mic? I can't find it anywhere, but I can see that the receiver is picking up the audio. Take a guess where it is. Take a guess. You're never going to believe it. No joke. No joke. Oh, wow. All right, let's do that again. Let's do that one more time. Oh, man. I'm going to lose it again. There we go. Oh, boy. So I was talking about Slovakia, Mirotvorets, Pellegrini, and we can now talk about our next topic. Incredible. I was there for 15 minutes looking around, and there it was. The magnetic mic. It's a strong magnet. So, so I was talking about Slovakia. I was talking about Pellegrini, Mirotvorets, why Trump isn't doing anything about it, why the U.S. is not taking down this horrific Mirotvorets site, why the European Union is not saying anything, why Ursula is quiet, why Kaja Kallas, stunning and brave, is quiet as they place EU member states' presidents on a hit list, and no one is saying anything about it. I believe Fico was on the site as well, or maybe I'm wrong about that, but it has other very, very well-known politicians and analysts, journalists. They're on this site. Actors, right? So anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about a story that is not getting too much attention, but I think it's pretty significant. And that is the ICJ has sided with Russia and will hear a genocide case that Russia has made against Ukraine, right? Going all the way back to the Maidan coup. And this is a case that Russia has submitted to the ICJ, and then Ukraine tried to block the case, tried to get the case thrown out along with its collective West partners. They lobbied very, very hard, put a lot of pressure on the ICJ to try and get them to throw out this genocide case that Russia was bringing to the ICJ against the Kiev regime. And the ICJ decided to side with Russia, and they are going to hear this case. And the Russian argument is that for the past 10 plus years, we've seen the Kiev Banderite regime go after Russian ethnic Russians, the Russian language, the Russian culture, the Russian religion. They've launched strikes at civilians. This is even before the conflict, that they were launching attacks on Russian civilians. And they are saying that this is, without a doubt, some sort of a campaign, a deliberate campaign, to ethnically cleanse Russian speakers and ethnic Russians from the area. And the ICJ is going to listen to this case, International Court of Justice, ready to assess Kiev's crimes, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. The West's hopes of legal weapons against Russia have once again failed, the ministry said. All Kiev's objections about the alleged inadmissibility of Russian demands have been completely rejected, and the Russian Federation's claims have been accepted for consideration by the court in full, the Russian Foreign Ministry said. Having confirmed today the legal admissibility of the Russian demands, the International Court of Justice has expressed its readiness to assess the entire vast range of crimes committed by the Kiev regime and its accomplices. Alexander talked about how Russia is working on creating some sort of a tribunal as the war comes to a conclusion. The victor, of course, in any conflict, in any war, it is the victor that will set up the courts and the tribunals, not the loser, which is what the EU actually believes is going to happen. They're going to be the ones setting up the tribunals. No, that goes to the victor. And Alexander talked about how Russia has mentioned that they are going to be setting up these kinds of courts. And here you have an ICJ ruling, which is saying, you know what, we'll hear the case. We will hear the genocide case that you are bringing to us. So that's a significant news story, a significant development. Not looking good for Zelensky and his accomplices. That word, accomplices, that the foreign ministry threw in there. They're signaling something. So Merz's approval rating has hit rock bottom. He is now at 23% approval. Well, not quite rock bottom. He's not at Macron levels. Macron's at 10%. Merz is at 23%, but the latest poll says that this is something just got in my eye. This is the lowest approval rating of any German chancellor in all of history. 70% of Germans are unhappy with the government, according to a poll. Support for Chancellor Merz, his cabinet has hit a record low. A survey from INSA suggests Merz's personal approval rating has declined to just 23%, the poll suggests. These are the worst ratings ever recorded for the Chancellor and his government, INSA head Herman Binkert told Bild. Merz is at 23%. Stammer's at what, 20%? I don't buy that. I think Stammer is much lower than 20%. But anyway, I think the official number is 20% for 008, and Macron's at like 10%, right? Which is also very, very high for little Napoleon. So if you combine all of them together, they barely break 50%, and I think that's being very, very generous. But they're in London. The big three are in London, and they are going to work with Zelensky to reject the Trump 28-point peace plan, of which Zelensky has not even read, according to U.S. President Trump. Anyway, all right. So Sikorski, the foreign minister of Poland, he continues to go after Musk, who is going after the EU. It looks like Sikorski has taken the role of protector of the European Union, Radoslav Sikorski. And he posted on X, well, yesterday he posted on X that Trump should go to Mars. Just go to Mars. Musk, sorry. He posted on X that Musk should go to Mars. Just go to Mars, Elon Musk, and leave us Earthlings alone. And Sikorski, he has now posted on X that there is hypocrisy from Musk and from Dmitriev about censorship, because X in Russia is banned, is censored. And Sikorski thinks he's being very, very clever by pointing out this hypocrisy. Where's Elon Musk's protest against real censorship in Russia, where X is banned? And Sikorsky is commenting on a Michael McFaul post, which says, I hope everyone appreciates the bald hypocrisy of the Russian government officials tweeting on the platform about censoring in Europe when @X is banned inside Russia. Just amazing. They have no shame at all, says Michael McFaul. They have no shame, according to the one-time U.S. ambassador to Russia, the ambassador under Obama. I believe he was the ambassador at the time of the Maidan coup. No hypocrisy there, no shame there. But anyway, they're basically pointing out that Dmitriev is siding with Musk about the censorship from the EU against X. The censorship, the fine, the $150 million fine that the EU has placed on X. And Dmitriev, he is siding with Musk on that one. And they're trying to point out Russia, Dmitriev's hypocrisy, Elon Musk's hypocrisy. Gotcha, Dmitriev. Gotcha, Musk. How come you're not going after Russia, who is banning X? Well, the reality of the situation is that on March 1st, March 1st, 2022, Ursula decided to censor all of Russian media from the European Union. And 3 days later, on March 4th or March 5th, Russia retaliated by censoring Twitter. At that time, it was still Jack Dorsey's Twitter. And so Russia said, you know what? You're censoring Russian media. Well, we will censor some U.S. media or some collective West media, of which Twitter absolutely can be categorized as collective West media. Under Jack Dorsey, Twitter was a very subversive U.S. media, responsible for a whole lot of three-letter agency regime change operations. Keep in mind, it was still Twitter at the time. Musk then completed his purchase of Twitter on October 27th, I believe, of 2022. And then he went on to rename it X and to change Twitter around. And that's the story there. It was very much a retaliation against the censorship from Sikorsky's buddies. But the story actually goes much deeper than that. Because in 2015, 2016, the Russian government, they passed a law which said that big networks, big websites, big social networks, we're talking websites and social networks with tens of millions, hundreds of millions of users around the world, that if they were collecting personal data of their users, the personal data of Russian citizens needed to be stored in a data center in Russia. Not all of the personal data of all the users, but under the new Russian data law, the data protection law, the personal information that was being collected by large platforms for Russian citizens, that had to be stored in Russia. That's the law. Not a crazy law. I don't think it's that outrageous of a requirement. If you're Russia and you say, look, the personal data of all your users, your international users, we don't care. We don't care about that. But for Russian citizens, you have to at least keep that data or a copy of that data in Russia at a data center in Russia. If you do that, then you're fine to operate in Russia. There's no problem. Many companies complied. LinkedIn, I believe, did not comply, and they were the first big network to be banned from Russia under this law in 2016. I believe Twitter did not comply. I want to say they didn't comply, even though they were in discussions with Russia, but I could be wrong about that. But you do have that data law in place as well. And that's why you do have many very large social networks in Russia that are not complying with the data law, not allowed to operate in Russia. And then you also have laws about propaganda and misinformation about the war, which also came into effect in 2022. Keep in mind that Twitter at the time was still Jack Dorsey's Twitter. X at the time was Jack Dorsey's Twitter. So it's not the way Sikorsky is presenting it or McFaul is presenting it. I would place a bet that if Musk complied with Russia's data law and said, okay, we'll keep the Russian users, Russian citizens' data, we'll keep it stored in Russia, and if he did that and then spoke to Russian officials, I bet you that he would be allowed to operate Twitter in Russia. That would be my guess. So that's that. That is that. Let's do a clown world, and we can wrap up this video. Very interesting video today. I thought I had lost my mic. So let's talk about X and Musk and the EU Commission, the European Union. They decided to, my understanding of things, they decided to purchase an ad for the announcement, to promote the announcement of their $150 million fine of X because of a lack of transparency, they say, misleading with the blue check mark and a lack of transparency. And so they prepared a video and they actually promoted it through Twitter's advertising mechanism. So they paid to promote the fine on X. They paid X to promote the fact that they're fining X. And so what did X do in response? They revoked the commission's advertisement capabilities, their advertising account. Oh boy. The EU's going to lose this. The EU's going to lose this war with X because the platform is X. Musk has this platform. You're trying to take on Musk on his own platform, you're going to lose. You are going to lose. And then they're not going to ban X in Europe. Believe me, the EU is not going to censor or ban X. They're not going to do it. And I'll tell you why they're not going to do it. Citizens would be upset if they did it, but the EU officials would be even more upset if they did it because they love to be on X. They love to be on social media, and they love to have hundreds of thousands and millions of followers because they're all egotistical narcissists, man. Yeah, they're gonna tell Ursula, don't you dare ban X because we love being on X and showing off the millions of followers that we have on the platform. So that's why Europe is not going to ban X. So it's a lose-lose for the EU. But they do have another campaign going, and it looks like they rallied all of the bots and the trolls that allegedly support the European Union, and the campaign that is on X right now at the moment is "This is my flag," and they have a picture of the EU flag, the blue with the gold stars, and they're all posting the same message pretty much. This is my flag, and it stands for unity and freedom and human rights and the rules-based international order and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to defend this flag. And so that's the campaign that they are now running with. This is my flag. Because Musk, he is tearing into the European Union. He is absolutely tearing into the EU. And this is the best they could come up with. This is my flag. And of course, people are making fun of this campaign when you look at the comments underneath these types of posts. It's brutal. People are just demolishing this this campaign. This is my flag campaign. So so that's clown world number one. How do I get out of here? I have to go up there. That's how I get out of here. And clown world number two is Palantir. And Alex Karp, the CEO of Palantir, who did the event, the New York Times book club event, or whatever it's called. He was at that event, the Deal Book Summit. And it looks like Karp managed to get into Zelensky's stash or something, because he was hyped up. I'm telling you, he cannot sit still. Alex Karp, Palantir CEO. And the funny part about this appearance at this New York Times event is that it looks like Palantir was proud of their CEO's performance, because they actually posted it on X. What is the biggest problem in this culture? I'll tell you, the biggest problem: no one believes the institutions are credible. They actually posted segments of Alex Karp's appearance at the New York Times Deal Book event, where everyone is scratching their heads saying, what is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with this guy? Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on X. We are on Rumble. We are on Telegram. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, and I will see everyone tomorrow. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. Take care.